Welcome to another edition of the SRC Culture Corner Live Forum, brought to you in partnership with the JCDC. I am Winsome Sherrier, Witter, founder and chief community advocate here at Serenity Resource Connector. It's September, and here on Culture Corner, our focus in September, other than celebrating my birthday on the 3rd, is celebrating Miss Lou's legacy. And this year we are focusing on Miss Lou's vision, today's reality, how the Jamaican language has become a global passport for music, film, and literature. So Miss Lou taught us that language is not just a way of speaking, it's identity, artistry, and pride. Today we see her vision alive in music, film, and literature, where the Jamaican language has become a global passport, reaching audiences far beyond our shores on this, our island rock of Jamaica. So to help us explore how this legacy continues to shape today's reality, we're joined by three outstanding voices. Abi-D, or Festival Song winner for 2025, Joel Miller, two-time JCDC FIWI short film winner and CARIFESTA, hope I get this right, XV Delegate. He should let me know when he comes on, as well as Brithney Clarke, Miss Jamaica Festival Queen 2025 and Jamaica Library Service Reading Ambassador. We'll be exploring how Jamaican language continues to inspire, connect, and open doors across the world of music, film, and literature. And as always, we invite you, our online audience, whether you're joining us on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, to add your voice in the comments and chat. So we will begin with 3 spotlight conversations. So each of our guests will be in the spotlight, followed by a roundtable reflection with our guests. And then we will take any question you might have for our guests for the evening, and then we will go ahead and close out. Our first guest is one of Jamaica's bright new voices in music. At just 20 years old, Abi-D, born Abigail Dunstan, captured Jamaican attention or national attention by winning the 2025 Jamaica Festival Song Competition with her patriotic entry, Sweet J.A. Only the 7th female artist to earn this title, she blends reggae, dancehall, pop, and R&B with the heartbeat of Jamaican culture. A dancer and actress as well, Abi-D is now pursuing a Bachelor of Fine Arts at Edna Manley College. She represents the next generation, carrying forward Miss Lou's vision, showing how our language and sound inspire and connect with audiences worldwide. Fresh off the New York stage representing Jamaica, we have with us Abigail, Abi-D for short. Unfortunately, you won't be able to see her live, but of course you'll hear her beautiful, sweet, melodious voice. Welcome to Culture Corner, Abi.
Thank you so much for having me. Good night, everybody.
All right, we are hearing you loud and clear. And for those of you who are joining us live, let us know if you're hearing Abi on your side. Hi, Mishka Myri. She's been on since 7:32, waiting patiently for us to start. We are here, and let's hear from Abi. Abi, Miss Lou showed us that our language has power in performance. As our Festival Song winner 2025, how has Jamaican language shaped your music and stage presence?
Well, Jamaican language is really at the heart of how I express myself on the stage. So when I perform, Patois gives me freedom. It, carries emotion and just emotion that the standard English just can't really capture, It makes my music like real and relatable, and it just connects me with the audience instant.
Amazing. And you, as I said earlier, you are fresh back from New York, where you went and you had a platform. Kudos to JCDC and the amazing work that's been done to provide these expanded platform for the winners to showcase what they have, and not just to stop after the competition. Abi, just let us know now a moment when you realized that using Patois connected deeply with people, whether here in Jamaica or while you were off in New York representing brand Jamaica.
The moment actually happened in New York when I performed my original song, Sweet J.A. So as soon as I said certain Jamaican phrases, persons in the crowd were, they were excited and they were reeling up and, waving their flags because they had flags as well. And when they caught on, because I had to repeat it a couple of times because they always
Oh,
said to pull up. So they caught on to the chorus and sang along proudly. So it reminded me that Patois isn't just a language, it's a part of our identity as Jamaicans, and it unites us no matter where we are.
all right. So Miss Lou's vision has been realized. We can safely say that. And I'm just remembering that it was a Labor Day weekend. So it was not just Jamaicans, but you had like millions of people that you were engaging through the different spaces. Abby, how did that make you feel as a Jamaican?
It felt really good, because I not only I found out that not only that music doesn't only connect with people in Jamaica, but it connects in the diaspora as well. So I found that really amazing.
Awesome stuff. And for those artists who are wondering if Patois might limit them internationally, I've already outlined that. But share with us, is it a barrier or a bridge? Or can it be both based on your experience?
Well, to me, Patois is a bridge because looking at reggae, dancehall, even the influence of Jamaican culture worldwide, people love the sound and the vibe of our language. So even if persons don't fully understand every word, it's like the music itself goes beyond translation. It carries the spirit of Jamaica. So that's what people connect to really.
Amazing. Sweet JA and Abi-D and others who have been in this space are a part of what makes Jamaica so sweet, and those in the diaspora. So it's what we have to showcase. So, Abby, before we transition to the next spotlight, tell us, for those who are in between thoughts about entering the festival song competition for 2026, because now is the time for them to start preparing, because I can imagine there'll be maybe thousands of entries based on the platform that you have been given. Speak to them for me as to, based on your experience, what would you say to those who are still not sure whether or not they should enter?
Um, I would say don't waste your energy on second guessing. Just uplift yourself, focus, and just do your best. Put your mind to it. If you want to enter. Don't You can be nervous, but don't put all your negativity on the nervousness. Just talk to yourself and say, I got this, I will do this, I believe in myself. No matter how much doubt you have, don't let the doubt overpower your positivity that you should have.
Thank you so much, Abi-D. Abigail Dunstan, amazing. That really shows how the music continues to carry Miss Lou's vision across the borders, and that's something that we ought to be proud of as Jamaicans. Thank you, Abi-D. Keep shining, keep waving the Jamaican flag high wherever you go. All right. Abi-D might not be able to stay with us for the entire forum, but if you're able to, Abi, please stick around. We'd love to hear more from you later. All right. But music isn't, let's get Abby right here. All right. So music isn't the only art form opening doors. Our next guest is a celebrated playwright, filmmaker, and educator whose work is deeply rooted in Jamaican culture. Joel Miller is the writer and director of award-winning films such as Airport, Blackbird, and Ludi, and two-time winner of the JCDC FIWI Short Film Festival. And just in case you missed it, we actually did a showcase on the FIWI Short Film Festival. I'm trying to remember what year it was because we've been doing Culture Corner for quite some time now. But you can search for it on YouTube so you can learn more about the FIWI Short Film Festival. But back to Joel. At CARIFESTA XV, he represented Jamaica as a filmmaker and storyteller committed to preserving and evolving Caribbean narratives for the global stage. Known for blending poetry, spirituality, and social realism, Joel has shaped the next generation of artists as a teacher, mentor, and creative director. And he'll be sharing some of these artists that he has actually poured into, who are shining stars for us here in Jamaica. When he comes on, he brings his unique perspective on how Jamaican language carries our stories beyond borders. Welcome, Joel.
Wagwan Jamaica, Wagwan Serenity Ghana.
All right, we're good. All right, feel free to share in the comments, just asking you Wagwan over there on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. All right, Joel, let's talk. Miss Lou always said our stories are worth telling in our own voice. In your films, how has Jamaican language helped you bring stories to life?
Boy, I couldn't do it without the Jamaican language. You hear me talking and looking at Patois, and this is how I teach my classroom. Because let me just give a backstory. So I went to school in Jamaica, but then I left for a couple of years and I'm going to school abroad. And I'm going to bring it in because when I come back to Jamaica, I had aspiration of doing film and theater, right? But because I did so exposed to what they were doing, I thought the only way to bring it to the big stage was to do it like them. But then I remember Miss Lou, because it was true, Miss Lou almost started with speech in a JCDC. And then I realized the more I incorporate the Jamaican language, is the more it reaches diaspora, is the more it reaches the audience because it's more authentic. Because means a Jamaican, you true and true. So when you do your art true and true, it will connect with people more than if you're trying to put on a twang. And I'm not saying that I can't do a movie where I have in American dialect in it or British dialect or wherever. You get me, I say? But because I'm a Jamaican true and true, I know Jamaican characters mostly. So I can write a Jamaican woman the best. I can write a Jamaican man the best. I can write a Jamaican child the best. And so I keep them authentically speaking Jamaican, to reach my audience. Because authenticity is what gets you awards and recognition. Because people will be like, this seems real. So I'm going to use Jamaican language as much as I can in my plays them and my movies them. I know you have asked your bridge and barrier question, so I'm going to save the answer for that. All right?
Indeed, because we want to hear so much more. So let's look at the international scene, because we are talking about the language being a passport to these different spaces. How do international audiences respond to Jamaican dialogue? Does it confuse, fascinate, or connect them more deeply with us as Jamaicans and the art?
Well, it can do all of the above, and it's how you treat it, right? So, for example, all right, so I used to do theater. I'm still do theater, but I started out in theater, right? And then, the story, COVID come, shut down the doors at theater, and made have a pivot for doing now film. And when I started my film, them, like I had that serious question to ask: how am I going to make my characters talk? Because I want to have an international reach, because film is bigger internationally. You can't neglect that. So I do Airport first, and it was Jamaican dialect. Blackbird, it was Jamaican dialect again. But then after Blackbird, now I say, you know what, I want to take my reach into the Caribbean. So I enter one competition in the US Virgin Islands, which is the US Virgin Islands Paradise Film Competition. And I had an existential crisis, because I was like, oh, I'm going to make my characters them talk, because the judges were coming from the US and Britain. And I was like, are they going to understand my dialect? What should I do? Should I make my story about British people or English people? And I just trust my gut, I trust my gut. I'm just like what Miss Lou would have said, just chat like when you chat. And so I write one film named Curious, And chiaroscurus is a very important word to us because that was Jordan Maxwell winning spelling bee word. So I'm going to use Jordan Maxwell winning spelling bee word and write one film out of it. I'm going to write chiaroscurus. I'm going to win. And the judges loved it. We got best actress, we got best score, and we got best film. And they really appreciate it and said, even though it was Jamaican, it was very relatable to them. However, I think it also can be a barrier if it depends on how you treat it. So now after I win the competition in a US Virgin Islands, I say I want to move regionally to internationally. So recently I entered a competition in the United States in California. I'm going to write one film called Pepper Jack. And again, the crisis, whether or not, I'm going to make my characters talk. I trusted my gut, I'm going to make my characters them talk in Jamaican dialect. However, I knew it would be a problem to the judges. So I asked my editor to do closed caption. We couldn't get the closed caption version in time. And so we lost some marks because the judges them couldn't understand certain things. But had we had closed caption, it would have been okay. For example, Parasite. Parasite won the Oscar in 2019. Parasite is a Korean film, but it was entertaining. And because Bong Joon-ho trusted his gut and said, you know what, my Korean people, them talk Korean, I'm writing a Korean. And I'm writing a Korean. And if you love the film enough, you will sit down and you do the research and you read the closed caption. So I trusted my gut. Next time we have the closed caption earlier. So it can be a bridge and it can be a barrier. You just have to know how to treat it. You have to know where your audience lie. Who is your audience? And say, and that will inform your decision. So it can be a bridge and it can be a barrier. So you have to just know how to treat it. You know what I mean?
Indeed. I love that because that's exactly what Miss Lou was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, not because you're in a different space, you ought to be true to who you are. Use the language. People will catch on.
Use the language, people will catch on once it's entertaining and riveting, and emotions can't be denied. If somebody break up on a screen and them see the breakup and them feel that emotion, they will research the language, like even a Bob Marley music. Some of him lyrics, them very Jamaican and colloquial, but because people love the rhythm, love the vibes, them go and do the research. And so I think we must stick to our gut, use our language, and make sure it's good and clean and clear, and people do the research and understand. You know
that is right. Yeah. That is right. Because we're consuming so many Korean films now, and all we rely on is the
Squid Games come out of Korea, biggest TV series, and people consume it, and people don't have no problem. So what am I problem with how we talk? You know what I mean?
Right. It's about us owning our identity and being true to who we are.
And it's easy. Let me add this. It's an easy identity to own because Jamaican is such a big culture. It is like, I think this is the biggest culture in the world. So it's an easy identity to own. And if sometimes people come in our culture and rate our culture more than we. Sometimes we have producers coming here and make films and want people to talk Patois. And we over here so have the Patois at our disposal, coming out our bloods and our veins. So we must use it. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Let me pause to acknowledge our schools. We have Reddit's Primary. Welcome, Alicia Henry, Dorrit Smith from Brandon Hill Primary School in Clarendon. All right. Fantastic. I'm sure our educator is delighted to have you on and trust that you'll make some connections here. Who knows? You might.
That teacher too.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So, Joel, what practical advice would you give to young filmmakers about blending authenticity, as we've been talking about, with accessibility when using Patois on screen?
The first thing I say is do your research all the time because this is an art form. So do your research. And when you're doing your research, you have to know who your audience is. Your research will lead you to your audience. So you have to put yourself in the driver's seat of the audience and say, what do they want to hear and how they can understand it. So do your research, know your audience, and try and fail. I think many artists don't like to fail, but failing is I'm successful. I try so much time and I fail. And when I fail, I learn from that. It's not even failure again because I learned from that mistake. So make a film. And if your dialect don't come across, work on your dialect some more. And read too. If you're going to be a filmmaker, you have to read. Read some of the greats who do great dialogues, like William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is a great dialoguist. Tennessee Williams, is a great dialoguist too. And in film, you have Diablo Cody, some of my great dialogists, So do your research and read. I can't stress reading enough. And with this generation, they don't like to read. I teach the classrooms and they don't like to read. But the more you read, is the better writer you become, and the better you know how to use the language. Because it was through reading, Miss Luna for put the language in a nice, colorful way. Chapman Door, me not choose none. Mota Masiliza, or she do our rhymes them. So read some Miss Lou too. Miss Lou poems are die out. Read some Miss Lou poem, pick up yourself and read. Reading is still the key to success. So I can't stress that enough more. And the more you read, is the better you write. Because reading goes hand in hand with writing. That's my advice.
All right. And Brithney is backstage clocking it. All right. Welcome, Foundation Preparatory School over there in Clarendon. Leonie Goldberg, it's great to have you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we can't let you go because before you share with us some of these bright sparks that's shining on the national and international stage that have passed through your tutelage.
All right, let me start in the room. One of my students is Abi-D. Abi-D was one of my students, and she'll tell you that I'm the best sir ever. She's shining bright. And even our producer, Evad Campbell, is one of my students, Wow. Danger Harrison, big host, one of my students, DJ Wadsworth, actress extraordinaire and festival queen for St. Thomas, one of my students, We have so much students because even I work with Chantal Jackson and Shanique Brown. Chantal Jackson in a Death in Paradise. I work with her when I just started teaching, and she's one of the biggest actresses coming out of Jamaica. I have only students, but I look at them for the acting ones. But yeah, Evad Campbell, Danger Harrison, Romain Duncan, the list go on. But once you see them, most likely I'm teach them.
Oh.
Yeah, man, my teacher stars. My students can call me Midas, you know what I mean? Because I'm very invested in it. And become like a coach, really, like what Glenn Mills do to Usain Bolt. I sit down and I work with them, like even Abi-D. When Abi-D did I do our IA, because I taught Abi-D business of the creative arts, and she was having challenges with her IA. I asked Abi, I sit down with her underneath the tree. Abi says, "Sir, I can't do no more." I was like, "No, Abi, come one more time, Abi, one more time." And see Abi at university now and excelling in festival song, and she have the business background because her business really teach her where she can merge that, So when I look at money now, she can use that money to her advantage because her teacher. Yeah.
Amazing.
All around, yeah, man.
And that's a rich legacy because Miss Lou influenced your life. You're now influencing another generation, and they will be passing it on. Come on. The Jamaican culture is alive and well. Thank you, Joel. Keep on doing what you're doing. Don't go anywhere. As you spoke about the reading part of it, it's a nice segue into our next spotlight. Some powerful insights Joel shared just now. But just as film helps us see ourselves, literature and education shape how the next generation finds pride in their voice. Our final guest is the reigning Miss Jamaica Festival Queen 2025 and the newly appointed Reading Ambassador for the Jamaica Library Service. Brithney Clarke is a communications professional, entrepreneur, and youth advocate who has been recognized nationally with the Prime Minister's Youth Award for Excellence in Journalism. Through her influence, Read, Speak, Lead, she empowers young people in underserved communities by promoting literacy, mentorship, and public speaking. Brithney embodies this year's Festival Queen theme, the Jamaican woman, proud and bold, and brings a powerful voice on how Miss Lou's vision lives on in literature, education, and community life. Welcome, Brithney.
Hello, Miss Winsome. Thank you so much. And wagwan to your Serenity Corner persons. Hello, everyone joining from wherever. Thank you so much for having me on.
Amazing. And we continue this amazing discussion. I love to see the schools on Red Hills Primary, Brandon Hill Primary, Foundation Prep School. You are doing the right thing. Let's hope you make some connections here that can propel your cultural aspirants in your space. So as festival queen and reading ambassador, Brithney, you meet young readers across the island. And if you've been across as yet and know that you've crossed paths with a number of them, how do they respond when they see Jamaican language in books or performances?
Oh, wow. I love this question because for me, it just takes me back to a personal experience when I first encountered, Patois in a storybook. I felt like I was reading something that was authentically me. I was a part of it, and I felt like I was represented in those literature and those books that we read. I know that for me, like going to the different schools, interacting with the students, and even when I was at the handing over ceremony for the library services reading competition this year, I could see the enthusiasm on their faces, just knowing that there is something out there that represents their culture. I don't think persons really understand how valuable it is when we can be exposed to literature, be exposed to even films as Joel produces, or even just music that just helps us to feel like we are in a place where we're seen, we're heard, we're understood, and then there are different ways that we're represented through that. So for me, I think it's a great feeling. It makes me very happy. And I do love when the children's faces light up with excitement when they're reading the patois, learning how to pronounce the words and acting out the different scenes. It's always a great time and a great opportunity. The only thing I would say I'd want to see a little bit more of is just a bit more of a standardized approach, because I know the University of the West Indies is working on, formalizing the patois culture a little more. And I feel like when we're able to now represent patois in a way that everyone can understand in terms of phonetics and in terms of just being relatable and understandable and universal, then I think that could also help us with challenges in literacy as well, because now we'll be able to teach persons in what many would describe as their first language. A lot of persons, their first language is really patois and not necessarily standard English. So it's a great experience. I love it. And I do hope to continue seeing more books being produced by Jamaicans for Jamaicans as we go through.
Fantastic. Well said, Brithney. And I mean, they really need to start this patois phonetics from early, because I'm going to have to go back to school to learn all of that.
Yes.
Because I'm having challenges reading patois. Let me put it out there. And I'm happy the schools are here. We have Mount Alvernia High School here with us as well. Welcome, Daniela. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. So Ms. Lou used poetry to make us proud of our voice. Mm-hmm. How can schools and communities strike a balance, teaching standard English for global use while affirming patois as part of our identity?
This is another question that comes up all the time too, because we hear the discussion as to whether or not patois should be taught in schools. I am a firm advocate to say yes, it should be. And not only the point on where I mentioned it's really for many Jamaicans the first language, but it also can help with the literacy challenges. It can help with making content more relatable, and then it can even just help with the representation and identity shaping. Cultural retention is a major part of what it is that we do through the JCDC. So even having more culture clubs where we utilize the poetry by Miss Lou and the storybooks that are created, and even the reading circles by Ntukuma, for example, that's Dr. Blackwood Meeks, having these kinds of avenues where we're showing diversity, but we're also showing appreciation for what is authentically Jamaican. So Abi-D represented it well, Joel represented it well. We love to feel like our culture is appreciated and valued. And I feel like the schools are a great place to start, because the young minds are impressionable, but it also helps to foster a love and appreciation for the Jamaican culture, the Jamaican dialect, all of that from very early. So I think in striking the balance, until we get to a point where it's formalized on the curriculum, we can definitely start to introduce it through culture clubs. We could have, even in our English literature classes, we have at least one patois text, which could not only expose persons to the language and the dialect and understanding the language, but also helping, doing comprehension from that, so persons can know how it is that our lived realities are represented through these kinds of literature and the cultural representation. And of course, Miss Lou is a great place to start, because she has a wide catalog that represents so much of what we are as Jamaicans.
Oh, well said. Brithney and Daniela is shouting you out. Go, Miss Brithney Clarke. Yeah, because from where I'm sitting, because when we hear even the Bible being read in Patois,
Yes.
for me, I believe people are able to better relate to what was going on at the time and to have a better understanding and appreciation for what's been said, because they don't really understand, especially the old English for the right. Right. So it actually helps to connect more. And I don't know, but I am fascinated with baby AI.
Oh, yes.
Just hearing them use the dialect and just making that connection, I think is a powerful way to actually share, but we still need to strike that balance, because we have to recognize and appreciate that we need our children to also be able to move between standard English and our Jamaican language. And just to let you know, as I said, Culture Corner has been around for quite some time. So we actually had a discussion. There is a discussion in the playlist, the Culture Corner playlist there, where we talked about what's happening at UA in terms of, right, the steps being taken for the Jamaican language. So you can go and check that out and add your voice to the conversation, because it's always great to have your input in it. All right, fantastic. And our schools, you're here. Remember, you can chime in the comments and let us know. Brithney has shared. You can let us know if you have questions. She'll be more than happy to share with you how we can make it happen. And the Culture Club, as you mentioned, is really a powerful avenue to actually get these things done in the schools, and not just the schools, but the communities, because you have culture clubs out, not just in schools, but in communities. Churches, as we indicated, can be a part of that. We also have a discussion on culture clubs, so you can learn all about that. We have gone through basically all the different avenues where JCDC is concerned, so you can have a better understanding, appreciation, and how you can reach out. We've had people who have tuned into the space and they have gone to their parish office, JCDC parish offices, and they got their culture club going. So do likewise, not just in schools, but in your communities. So Brithney, what role do you see literature playing in keeping Miss Lou's vision alive for the next generation?
Yes. Oh, well, this kind of ties into my earlier answer. Just
yes.
Continuing the retention through learning in schools, through incorporating it into daily teachings, and just finding ways to help persons to just have a greater appreciation. Miss Lou put in a lot of work to ensure that Patois is placed on the map, Jamaica is placed on the map, and I feel like we should honor her legacy by keeping the culture alive, keeping the Patois alive, and just making it more incorporated in our everyday lives. I know one thing that came to mind is, for example, when we're teaching students Spanish, we would have like the English word. So we said this is the door, and then we'd have the Spanish word below it. Put the Patois word there as well. So let it be a part of our everyday life, because again, Patois is just a part of our lived reality. When we're teaching the Patois, we can utilize the poetry, because poetry again is also a more palatable way for even young people just to grasp it. It's a little shorter, more condensed, but also to the point. So it's another way that we can just help persons who are just trying to find their footing where literature and literacy is concerned, and just try to find different ways to ensure that Patois is there, culture is represented, retention is happening, and they are able to pass it on to the next generation as well. So I think that's really the most important part, the representation, ensuring that it's present and visible for all persons in whatever spaces that we're trying to promote it, and just continuing with that retention as the different age groups go by and the different sectors go by as well.
Amazing. And as you mentioned, the Spanish and the English words together. I remember I went to pick up my niece, and they were learning Spanish. And what the teacher did was to have the Spanish word written on a strip of paper, put on the tape, and they were supposed to place that word, stick it, if it's the bag, they stick it on their bag. And if it's their shoes, they take off the shoes and put the word in the shoes, so they make the connection. I thought it was really creative, the way it was done. So they learning by association. So I think that's a brilliant way to actually get that done. And even at home, the parents can be a part of it.
Yes.
So yes, we want them to be able to express themselves in the standard English form, but you also want to encourage them to be to learn the Jamaican language as well. All right, our schools are streaming in. Good night, Sadia Blake, representing Red Hills Primary School. Great to have you. Thank you much for tuning in. And remember, you can be a part of the conversation. If you have other ideas how we can get this done in your space, if you're already doing it, feel free to share so others can learn, because this is a space where we share information so others can learn and implement in their spaces. It's all about empowering others, their community, so that we can be stronger together. And this is just such an amazing representation, bringing us back to what Miss Lou's heart for the children and the future. As remember, ring ding, oh Lord. And we continue to keep that alive in the JCDC calendar. All right, let's bring Joel back into the conversation. Welcome back on screen, Joel.
Again.
All right. So we can have our roundtable reflection. Our educators, don't let me be like you and start calling names, you know. Put your questions or your comments in and be a part of the conversation, all right? All right, so let's get sharing. Joel, let's hear from you. How has Jamaican language become a passport in your field?
Well,
ways that you have seen it.
No, I see it in a whole heap of ways. Before this, I used to go a foreign through buying my plane ticket and go foreign, right? But now that I'm doing film, my films have been, first and foremost, it is my films have traveled before me. So my films have been showed in Fort Lauderdale, Las Vegas. The JCDC showcased it in a festival in Fort Lauderdale, and then somebody else picked it up in Las Vegas through that JCDC connection. And then recently, this is what you're talking about, CARIFESTA 15, the XVIA 15, sorry. Yeah, so the CARIFESTA 15, I was the film delegate sent by the JCDC and the Jamaican government. So I represented film in Barbados at CARIFESTA, and our films had a big reception. And it was my film that brought me there. And from the discussion, you know that I did a film in the U.S. Virgin Island. I did CARIFESTA in the U.S. Virgin Island, and I went there and I won the film competition there. So yeah, to read my film has actually become a passport for me traveling, you know, in tangible and intangible ways. Because sometimes a film go ahead of me, but sometimes I go with my film. And yeah, so my film make me reach global audiences. Yeah. So that is how my film do it, you know. And soon my plays are gonna follow. I do film now, and I begin up plays, and my plays are getting jealous. So I'm still go back to plays again, and have the international reach as well. Yeah.
And that's a good, healthy kind of jealousy, because
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. We want to get as much out there on the international scene, because what you're doing is actually paving the way for those who are
and it's very important. And why it's very important, because especially film is in its primary stage of development. So what I'm doing is that I'm developing the film language. So years of me dead and gone, because we don't really have a film language. Like Hollywood have a film language because of the infrastructure. So now we're developing our film language. So when me dead and gone, I'm going to pave the way to what Jamaican film can look and sound and feel like. So this is a very important time in filmmaking, actually.
Indeed. Yeah. Abi-D is not here, but we have seen where Abi-D went off to New York.
Yeah.
Right. So so many things are happening. And as you said, your films, they went ahead of you.
Yeah.
So that's very powerful, and that's something that we want the younger creatives to learn and understand. That, and I'm sure that when you just started, you never saw this coming, did you?
No, I never see it coming. Cause like, as I tell you, it was a pivot. Like I do theater, I was in love with theater, but I'm a church man. I'm usually go family word and worship. So So there was a prophecy that I was going to go into film, right? And then COVID happened, and then I was rebellious against it because I love theater. I was like, theater is where it is at. But then COVID happened, and then it's either you go pivot or you go dead for hungry. And I was like, I'm gonna make the film Airport. I want to make Airport it at the reach where a film I show all over the place. People are asking me, reach out to me, and so it film have that exponential reach where it does reach beyond you. I'm sure Abi music I reach probably in Africa and places like that.
Yes.
And even Brithney, Pretty Face, because she's a festival queen, reach ahead of her because she is image. Image is a part of her branding, So yeah, her art is image. Yeah. So yeah.
Fantastic. Same question, Britney. How was Jamaican language become a passport in your field?
Well, I love Mr. Miller's representation, just talking about the exponential value and, your artwork preceding you and exceeding all expectations. That's great. For me, I'm in the field of communication. So the number one thing is connection. So being able to code switch when I go, out into the streets to work with persons, different communities. It's not everybody really is up for the standard English, even though I have a little better grasp of the English than the Patois.
It's not English, but
Yes, I'm coming to you for some of the classes, but for me, like just being able to switch and speak to the people, you talk to the people them in a patois, you get the vibe, everybody feels people, but then also being able to just represent all levels. So I think it's just a great thing being able to, cross that border, or what you mentioned earlier as barriers to communication, just being able to connect with people on a different, more grounded and realistic level. It really helps people to feel like you understand them, you're not there to put on a show, and it really just shows, because we see it even in the professional space. A lot of people, they are in corporate settings, but once they get into the communities, it's grassroots, it's straight patois, right? So it's a great thing just being able to understand your language and understanding the language nuances as well, because we have some names in Jamaica, and I really side but the people them call it, so you have to respect the people them and them culture. So, just being able to have that understanding and appreciation. I think for me, that's how it represents for my field in communications and public relations. But on a broader scale as well, like just being able to have that appreciation to show people that I'm a professional, but I'm a Jamaican, so I'm gonna speak my patois, I'm gonna chat my patois, and I'm gonna be proud of it, and I'm gonna be happy no matter where it is. I'm able to show them that it's okay. Your language is okay. It's who we are. Don't be ashamed. Own it. Chat it to your chat. Whether it's St. Patois, St. Thomas Patois, Kingston, Uptown Patois like mine. Don't be ashamed of who you are.
Yeah.
Yes, because Jamaica has so many different variations of patois. It is so amazing.
My first
Lady Dylan. Go ahead, Joel.
That's my first film in name Airport. As it I'm putting the H before the airport, because I would say it. And that's how the film came about, was like, that's how we say airport, and we just mixed it here with the port and made a story about here and flying away and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay, yes. It took me a while to get the hair.
Yeah.
Because we kind of use the H where it don't
just
belong.
Just show up and wait for show up, it does not show up.
That's right, it's invisible. All right, Daniela is very impressed. To keep going, keep doing what you are doing for Jamaica. Fantastic. And I am a part of the space is inspiring others to step into their own and to reach out and see where you need to get support. JCDC has a wide platform where whatever area you are looking to get into, I'm sure there's a space for you there at JCDC through the different competitions, and they have the workshops. So it's not that you're left on your own. Britney will tell you the whole preparation process for these competitions. So you have the technical specialists that work with you. So if you feel that you're not so strong in some areas, because if you are used to speaking standard English like Britney on a daily basis, and you're going to be doing a performance piece that requires patois, you're going to have to join a Joel or someone else too.
I got mixed between the both of them,
That's right. Show the diversity.
Big up JCDC every time, because JCDC, them do the Lord's work here, because them unearth so much talent, and them put our culture on exposure, because even our festival queen, this is unlike the other pageantry them, you know what I mean? There's a cultural aspect of it. It was such a great, because me get into it because, you know, DJ entered and then Danger come, and then this year I felt like, because Brittany mother bad me for vote for her, because I vote and then she won, so I felt like a part of it, just to see all them and her performance, you know, me like a winged performance, Brittany, you know, and so yeah, so just to see all them exposed thing, and then now them bringing filming at the background. JCDC, I do the Lord's work and big them up every time, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes. And just to let the viewers understand what you're saying when you say they're doing the Lord's work, because if each of us actually tap into what we are here to do, connect, that's where you get your sense of belonging. That's where, for those who are wondering how some of these people show up so confident, that's why you're able to show up confident, because you're doing what you're placed on the earth to do.
Exactly.
Right. So you're not looking at the next person to say, all right, how they're doing this, because you're owning who you are, and you feel that sense of, all right, this is what I'm really here to do. And so you feel connected, and I mean, you don't get involved in things that are counterproductive. You just hone your craft, and you learn, and you thrive on seeing people like Joel, and you're able to learn something from this one, learn something from that one, get into the JCDC space and get the kind of nurturing that you grooming that you need, so you can, I mean, put on wings and fly, right?
Peter like Britney, fly that lady. Like Air Jamaica, G's and PNs. Yeah.
We're too connected, you know.
Yeah. That's right. Yes. And this is a nice way to go to this one. Miss Lou wanted us to take our language serious. And so what's one step each of us can take today to keep her vision alive? You're already doing it, but for the next person who don't understand what they need to do, talk to them. Joel, then Britney.
All right, so me that go back to the reading thing. I always go back to reading. Maybe because reading is dying. You know what I mean? Like one time Miss Lou books them that sell out, and Joan Anderson books that sell out, but the kids now really do those things again. So one of the things, if you are serious about it, buy some of the Jamaican literature them, support Jamaican cultural business then, if you are serious about it. So that is my thing. Read Jamaican plays. Ginger Knight write a great play, you know, Whiplash. Read it. Go through the Jamaican history. One of the things we want them do is to teach back Jamaican civics in a school, because I feel like we're becoming so globalized that our culture get watered down, even in the outer, you know what I mean? Like the younger kids them talk like at a hybrid of Jamaican and American language. It, you know, it gone past Upper St. Andrew. They're Florida Jamaica now, you know what I mean? And so yeah, we have to do more reading, and I think you need to support more people who are doing Jamaican stuff. And I said this for the government to, you know, like support people, filmmakers who are making film with Jamaican language, support playmakers who are making play about Jamaican language. So it's in the face of the kids them. Why are our children them only watching, our babies them only watch Miss Rachel? We have a Miss Luto. We will come tell them, say, hey, this is, you know what I mean? Whatever Miss Lou could I do, what Miss Rachel I do, the government needs to start investing them. Just win the election, maybe this is a one good investment for them. Need to start investing in these things where we can see more representation of ourselves. I think there's far too few representation of us, and we're such a big deal. We're not small fries, we're a big deal. Go large too. Yeah, so
that's right.
I love that.
Amazing. And Alicia, thank you so much, Teacher Henry. We can also incorporate her writings into our curriculum.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
I agree with that as well. And Miss Henry, I agree with your point too. And reading has to be my number one as well. And as the reading ambassador, we've seen where the competition, which recently concluded, that actually gave rise to just an introduction to more Caribbean, well, Jamaican authors, most importantly, and the representation that they too show. So showing the realities of, you know, a young girl in the younger category, older women, etc. So the literature is there. it's really for us to really want to go out and learn a little bit more as well. It's unfortunate that reading is dying, but I feel like we're going to make a comeback this year, especially project. Yes, man. I plan to at least touch a few lives and get the reading spirit ignited again. But I also feel like our parents do play a major part. They have a big responsibility as well, because we can't put it all on the teachers, because parents is the primary socialization. So parents, read with your children, expose them to the literature, let them speak the patois at home, get them to understand that it's okay to speak your language, to appreciate your language, but also that you show them that you too appreciate the language. So read with them. Find ways to help them with their homework if it's in patois, whatever it is. I think the parent component is a part of what's missing right now as it relates to just culture on a whole and just literature. Literacy on a whole. So parents, I'm urging you to play a major part in just stepping up a little more, showing up a little more in your children's lives. And then when we're at school again, incorporating it into the curriculum is a great suggestion. Using just the words as other translations outside of the Spanish, the French and all of that we're trying to teach them, because it shows, I feel like we can't be so focused on appreciating external culture before we appreciate what is our own. People outside of Jamaica love Jamaica more than Jamaica. That's not so right.
All the time. I go all the time and see this.
Yeah, that's not right at all. So I feel like we need to start at home. We need to work on a personal level to love our culture. We need to see the value in what Jamaica has to offer and see the avenues that are there. The JCDC, as you mentioned earlier, Joel, they have so many resources that are untapped, but they are doing a great job so far through the competitions, through the workshops that they do, preparing students for the competitions. And there are officers there that teachers you can call to come in to do a talk, to, assist you with your culture clubs, to things like that, just help you get started so that you can play a role in that cultural retention and just keeping Miss Lou's vision alive. I know what Miss Lou just wants is for people to love our culture, to understand or live the reality. We are Jamaicans. We have certain things. We're just a Jamaican things. So we just have to really understand that she wants that for us. We have to love it and love Jamaica too. So we just have to start. And I say start at home, read the literature, and just find different ways to immerse yourself in the culture through what the JCDC and other avenues have to offer.
Mama, add a little something to this. Because I didn't hear Britney that talk about, and it's something touchy for me now. Let us remove the disdain from the Jamaican language. Like we look on Jamaica. Remember the first time me gonna one classroom and becoming a spoken like the students, and like I was like, I'll get one. Just what I mean. But yeah, we have to remove that disdain. Like it is less off. You know what I mean? Like if you talk standard English, you're more than me. And it's something that is inbred in us that, for years, and it's something we'll go around and do, because like even Portia seems similar. I remember when she was running and people was like, oh, she talks on him something there. I was like, but she's an intelligent woman. She talk like us. She talk like my mother. She talk like my grandma. She talk like Miss Lou. So what is wrong with that? Are you saying you can't be intelligent and talk so? I would need to remove that. I think we need, like Britney said, I'm picking back off on what Britney said, but we need to remove that,
Indeed. Okay, Miss Henry is saying also that we can also read and share her work for retention. And a big part of that is in the homes as well. And interestingly, I saw this video, some past students from my high school, they were sharing how the literature books have changed. And it's more of the European literature that's there, and not if it is that we are seeking to expand as it relates to our Jamaican language, we need to start looking at, as Britney said, incorporating some of these. Red Hills Primary representing again through Rosalie Hall. All right, our schools are in, right? And JCDC, just to add to that, a big part of, because I've had calls coming in because of the space, for who's reaching out asking me if I can connect them with someone that they would have seen in the space, maybe a festival queen. They want them to come and talk to their girls for Girls' Day or things of that nature, right? So that's a big part of what can actually happen. There are limited resources, limited officers in some of these spaces, but I believe that we have enough ambassadors that can be utilized in the different institutions, especially at our early childhood level. So that's something that we can look at in terms of how do we connect these institutions with the support that they need. I've had an infant school asking, they want to start a culture club, but they don't have the in-house resources to get it done. How can we look at utilizing the resources from maybe a neighboring school? I've seen them do it for their Read Across Jamaica, where they have teachers from other schools coming into so they have like a teacher switch to go and read to the different students. So that's something that can be considered where that is concerned. Yes. So if you don't have the in-house resources are around you. This is where the community comes in.
Yeah, reach out. And JCDC have a lot of resources, and them always want to help people. So once they reach out to JCDC, they might connect with somebody. Yeah.
Right. So there's no excuse. We can get it done, but we have to do this together. Right. So you don't just stay in your little box. Right. This is where we have those kinds of conversations, and it triggers some thoughts, and you hear some things that are shared here. I'm like, no, man, but I can try this in my school. And if you need additional support to get it done or to improve on what you have, reach out. There's a JCDC office in every parish. So reach out and get the support that you need so that we can get our young people on the right footing so that they can be groomed and prepared, and under the different untapped potential that's on the inside can come to the surface. So they too can get their global passport in whatever area, whether it's music, film, literature, whatever area it is. Jody mentioned something about being in the classroom. It's amazing how we have a lot of people gravitating to these little skits that like a Deandra and all the time. That's a powerful platform.
It's a very powerful platform. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and no matter how they shun this when they talk normal talk patois, but when they start the DJ and all the sing J in the classroom, and they have that little penny section just coming together, it's just amazing the kind of magnetic pull that happens in those kind of spaces. So imagine if we get into the learning environment, what will happen in the minds of the children.
Because I see it firsthand. You understand? Because I teach film and I teach theater, but I also teach business, and music and my business courses them too, and when you can see it actually make the students them learn better. And see the enjoy it for a profession, where study for a profession making people laugh. The danger is somebody from Australia message her and say her son had autism. But anytime Deidre come on, him just get light up. So sometimes you don't know the work you're doing, but like as me I say, art is exponential and reach beyond you. Yes. So
and that's another avenue where the language is going into different spaces and impacting lives outside of even our Jamaican people. So that's powerful.
Yes.
Go ahead, Joel. You were sharing something else.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Our language is a very, very powerful tool, and it's a very, very powerful tool in and outside of the classroom globally. As you said, it is for recognition, identity, where we identify as Jamaican. One I think where I realize, and this is why I'm doing interviews. So one day I watch a Bob Marley interview, I realized that the man really talk no English to the people. He just sit on them chair and just like talk. And they were so attuned to him. And then when I was in America, I tried talk like the people them. It is like I'm almost representing myself less than. I reach up to them. And then when I start talk like myself. And sometimes I have difficulty, so I'm going to slow it down. And they will understand. When you slow it down, they will understand. I'm going to think them appreciate you and respect you more. When you just give them a piece of yourself. Let's just be yourself. Let's just be yourself. I think that is the 2025 mantra. Let us be more of ourselves, because all the people that will reach there is because them be themselves. Cartel, all of them being themselves. Britney, on that night, she was herself. She was herself, true and that's how she win.
That's right. Jamaican, just be bold.
Just be bold.
Just be bold and the only way to be bold is to be you. That's how you're gonna truly represent. All right, final thoughts as we wrap. We're at the top of the hour. Britney,
Yes, but well, for me, so I don't want the message to be lost in all of this, because I noticed something that came up in the last discussion I had as it relates to the Patois conversation and all of that is we're not telling persons to not learn English. We're not telling you to neglect English and don't learn other languages. We're saying that don't forget home. Don't forget who we are. Don't forget your first language. Don't forget Patois. Incorporate it as best as you can, because at the end of the day, you know, you don't want to be restricted in opportunities, yes, because you don't speak English, but know the English, speak the English, but know the Patois and own the Patois, because the Patois makes you who you are. The authenticity is what makes Jamaicans stand out. Jamaicans, I think when I travel, I just hear a Jamaican word and I say, oh, that's a Jamaican, and I'm happy to know that a Jamaican is here, you know. So that, I think that is the one thing that, well, one of the things that makes us truly stand out and unique, and people all over the world try to mimic the Patois, but nobody does it better than Jamaica. So I would say, love your culture, appreciate your culture. Miss Lou put in a lot of work to get us here. And we see her vision coming to life. We see we see persons trying to bring back the culture and keep it alive. So I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Encourage, I see schools are on, bring it back in schools. Ensure that we represent Miss Lou. It's September, her birthday is coming up. We have lots of events and activities, but don't just leave it for September. Find different ways to make it a part of our everyday life, because Patois represents our lived realities. Miss Lou poems speak about everything that we can think about when it comes to Jamaica. Food, culture, even elections are just gone where they Miss Lou have a poem
about it. Yes.
So, just really understanding the power we hold as Jamaicans to have such a powerful language as Patois that sets us apart, that makes us authentic. And it really is something that we need to be more proud of, rather than shunning it, as you said, Joel, and kind of looking down on it. It's our language.
Yes.
We're authentically Jamaican. I think we need to love and own that, and that will get us much further than we are, especially on a global passport stage. Yeah.
That's right. All right, Alicia Henry saying there must be a balance, time and place, which is what we're saying, that they must be able to comfortably switch between both, because a lot of Jamaicans, they are not comfortable switching between both, and it limits them.
Yes.
So if it is that they're stronger in Patois, they feel that they can't come in a space like this and represent, and so it holds them back, unlike Joel, who is comfortable in sharing like this, so it gets to that space, right? Britney is able to switch between both, right, which is the time and space and how you actually do it. So very powerful sharing. One more before you go ahead, Joel. Carmen Dillon is reminding us that civics is now taught in schools, even from grade 1.
Oh, nice. Okay,
excellent.
Good.
Yeah, cause I thought it was just absent, Arden teach it, because I used to teach at Arden. And they teach it in 9th grade, and really get a privilege to teach it 1 year, and so I'm happy for that.
Yes, it's back.
Yeah.
All right. Final thoughts, Joel, and then we wrap.
All right, so my final thought is so like I reiterate what Britney said, that you must learn English as well, because she don't want it lost, you understand? Because the English is also a passport, because that is a universal language. We know how history go, and we know the English had their reach. They had a big reach over the world, and them grab the world in them hands. So you need to learn English. However, in learning English, Patois is your home.
Mm-hmm.
That is who you are, and you must own it. So you know where and when to use it. You have to use wisdom where and when to use it. For example, even the essays of my students, right? I welcome Patois, but I don't want the entire essay in a Patois, because CXC I forgot to read the essay, you understand? So I look at English essay, but when you're trying to express a point, we'll take a look at Patois right there. So you have to be wise in when to use it and not. So that's a big point. And then we'll end by saying, don't forget where we're coming from. Like, go back, don't make Miss Lou them die out. Go back to the old school, bring back the poems, like the 1st grade teacher, then bring back some of them poems in a classroom. First day at school, bring back, good morning teacher, how is you? It's a film boy, bring back some of Miss Lou poem them. You have to bring back some of those things, because my fear is that globalization is trying to kill our culture, as it have done a lot of other culture, and like the American British culture is at the forefront culture. You understand? So we must understand the importance of our culture and teach the students it, research it, keep it alive, teachers, teach it in your curriculum. Find one little part. It doesn't have to be an examining part. You get me? I say, find a little part in your course outline where you can teach this. So the students them can know where we're coming from. Because I feel like we're so far ahead now. We're going into AI now, where that seems like it's dying out, and it's such a big part of us. You know, when we see each other anywhere in the world, what the first thing people say to us? Wagwan. Wagwan. You know what I mean? Wagwan with us, yeah, man. That is where we end with Wagwan. Yeah.
The language that connects. Maxine Smith, it's great to have you representing Noel Smith Preparatory. Thanks for the discussions. Our absolute pleasure. All right. And it was indeed a powerful conversation here. We've seen where Miss Lou's vision is alive and well in the rhythms of music, in the stories on screen, as Joel has shared, and in the words that shape young minds. Our Jamaican language has truly become a global passport. It was shared explicitly here, connecting us with the world while reminding us who we are as a people. So let me thank Abi-D, Joel Miller, and Brithney Clarke for sharing their insights and experiences. Thank you so much for joining us. For those who are here with us on YouTube, over on Facebook, Instagram, we see you. Right, so whether you're here with us live or you're going to be watching the replay, it is absolutely a pleasure to have you. All right. Remember, this is just the beginning. Let's continue to celebrate and promote our language as a gift to the world, because that's exactly what it is. And I'll take this final one before I do the final wrap up. My mother wanted to put me in the mini Miss St. James, but I thought of so many things that could go wrong and I was scared, so I did not do it. All right. This is your reminder, Daniela. The age limit has been expanded. So if you're still within that range, just get it done, okay? You have a lot of time to prepare to submit your application to get it done. And you have Brithney and so many others as a guide. So thank you so much for being here. I am Winsome, Sherrier Witter, and on behalf of the Sorrento Resource Connector team, thank you for joining us. Until next time, keep the vision alive. And as Miss Lou would say, what good? And I encourage you to share the replay and follow our SRC platform for more powerful conversations like this. Thank you again, Lady Brithney, Joel. Pleasure having you share space with me here virtually.
Pleasure.
All right. Thanks again to the JCDC team. Nevlin Williamson, thank you so much. SRC Culture Corner Live Forum is brought to you on first Thursdays at 8 p.m. in partnership with the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, JCDC. Visit our website at www.serenityresourceconnector.com and subscribe to receive our weekly blog post. Join us again on Tuesday at 8 p.m. for our Youth Empowerment Live Forum. Thank you for watching.